It's UPBOptionMillionaires.com on this August 25th, 2015. It's a Tuesday. S&P 500 futures are starting to bounce here. And if you just look at a normal chart, you would think, hey, we're up 0.5%, 0.75%. But no, we're up almost 4% here on S&P 500 futures, reached yesterday's highs. And pulling back a little bit, see if we can blast above it. Looks like a really beautiful W bottoming pattern here, double bottom, and a move up higher. Back over 2,000 for your S&P 500 futures is probably in the cards after yesterday's nasty decline, something we haven't seen really since 2008 when we had some of these spastic moves to the downside. And look, S&P 500 futures found support just off of the October lows here. So we put in a higher low. That's something to look as possibly constructive here for a move to the upside for S&P 500. Look at the U.S. dollar index, which is trading a little bit higher, also found support. Looks to bounce here and consolidate in this range it's made after bursting into triple digits earlier this year. Let's look at the bond market. Bonds are pulling back almost 1% lower, and you can look possibly as a top here. If it does indeed pull back, I think we're going to see that help to put a bid under stocks. Speaking of stocks, let's look at some charts here for Twitter. You can see Twitter trying to get back up over 26 this morning. You look from a long-term 9-month chart here. You can see the rejection of the low prices. We see that with a lot of stocks. And I'm going to keep my Captain Obvious cape on today. Expect more volatility in the market. Okay? How's that sound? Also for the S&P 500, you go to some of the news outlets. They talk about the action in the market like, oh, volume is heavy today. No, shit, Sherlock. As you can see, the rejection again at the lower prices here. We got all the way up to about 195 here this morning, so we see if we can make our way back. But what a really nasty decline. And, it was 9 months just about of consolidation, and we gave birth to this massive decline. But we know this market has been very resilient since the lows in March 2009. So if we look from the trend over the last 5 years, the trend is up, and then we consolidate, we pull back here, we found support. Let's see if we can make something constructive here back up over 200 on the SPY, the S&P 500 ETF, the spiders. JP Morgan Chase upgraded this morning. This is a stock that's been trading in a channel. There we go. And you can see it hit the top side of the channel, pulled back, and above support here at the 55, 56 level. We're really up at the $62.50, almost $63 level. Analysts put a $78 price target on the stock, so we could probably come up and test this trend line in the next couple months for JP Morgan Chase. Let's also look at DuPont, which has really been in a tailspin. This is almost like the XLE chart. You can see the break of support. We finally broke down for good, but that does not mean there's not going to be bounces along the way, so I bought some calls in the midst of yesterday's wreckage. And we have a nice little bounce here underway. Back over to 51, see if we can get up to this level here at the 52.50, 53 level before week's end. That's going to look nice. And finally, let's look at the bond market. James Bond. Do look at TLT. Came up, broke long-term trend line resistance, came back to support. So we see, again, if this is something that's topping out here, we can move this trend line over here, or if this is something that's broken. And we're going to go up to new record highs for the TLT, which tracks the 20-year bond treasury fund. A couple other things to watch would be the VIX. Let's look at that VIX. Let's look at that VIX. Sounds like a song. Yeah, let's look at that VIX. Whoa! Oh my goodness. It almost looks like a misprint there. 40.74. Wow. Do you see the breakout we had? Consolidated. Of course, I was looking for a move under 12. And we got the exact opposite. And then some. But if we know the VIX, well, it's going to get beaten around a little bit. It's going to get its tray knocked out of its hand. Books smacked to the floor. And it's going to end up on hanging from its underwear on the back of a locker somewhere. So you can see the breakout we had for the VIX. But again, and if you can actually draw a trend line across, look at that. You draw a trend line across all the other peaks, really, aside from the one we had in the financial crisis. And each of them resulted in what? A smackdown. Hello, goodbye. Hello, goodbye. So that's what we're looking here for the VIX. Nice spike. Nice to see you, buddy. Have a nice day. See you back in the chess club later on. All right. UPB. Option Millionaires, I'll see you in the chat room. It's about a half hour before the market's going to open. The opening bell, ding, ding, ding. This time yesterday, prices were gyrating wildly to the downside. And when the bell rang, prices spiked lower. Look at that spike. Oh, no. And we recovered. We came all the way back and then fell into the close. and then kind of meandered our way up to a 3% pre-market move to the upside on the heels of a Chinese rate cut. Shanghai index was down 8%, but what do we care about that? We're trading stocks here in the U.S. All right, that's it. I'm off the sandbox, as we like to call it here at Option Millionaires. See you in the chat room. Goodbye.